Hello and welcome to finally some F1 23 content, and I'll be doing my first F1 23 race at Silverstone as Lewis Hamilton, just like last year, but this time it'll be the new 35% race distance, and I'm not going to keep you waiting any longer, so here's my first laps on F1 23. So just before I show you my first lap, I thought I'd say that I did one-shot qualifying, then a race. But during the race, my game crashed. So I thought, okay, I'll just have to, start again. But I thought I'd do a last to first. But I have still got the one-shot quali, so I have got the first lap on F1 23. So here we go then. Just before I head out onto my first lap, you can see the kind of new, we call it interior view, I guess, before you head out onto a lap. Honestly, the graphics are so much better. This is an Xbox One, and the graphics are honestly so much better. Here's kind of the display, I guess you could say. If you noticed before that, the steering wheel as well, that kind of HUD's changed as well from last year. So let's go out onto my first lap.
Right, the car's ready. Let's get it out there.
Also, here are the camera settings that I used. And here we are then, my first lap on F1 23, and already the first thing to point out was the handling is just so much better. You can see that I didn't expect to have that much grip as I go over the sausage curve there. And you see on the pit lane as well, I almost bin the car. I'm running no traction control. On the last game I could run no traction control, but I just found it, I just didn't find it enjoyable that I kept spinning out or loads of wheel spin. I just didn't enjoy it, so I ran medium. So this is going to be hard to get used to. Obviously a new handling and everything is always going to be difficult to get used to. Here, just my first start, it was just so much nicer to drive as well. Obviously the W14, the black Mercedes, lovely onboard. You see the graphics as well, the track and everything around looks absolutely amazing. You can take cops flat out, but I didn't. I haven't really discovered and learnt that part yet of this track going through Maggots and Beckett. It's just the grip. You can genuinely feel like every aspect of the car as you drive through here. New HUD as well. You can see below there, just below the halo. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of it. I quite like it. Obviously I haven't changed like the OCD yet. As you can see, I tried to warm up the tyres there and I ended up binning the car. Thankfully there's no damage to the car as a Haas passes us there. Tyres are a little bit cold, you can see while I was trying to warm them up, but lost the back end there, but we're back round. Still a bit of wheel spin, you'll find I'm still struggling with that throughout the video. Here just ending my first lap on F1 23. Let's get to the main part of the video, my first race on F1 23. So here is the strategy. It is a simple soft to medium. So here we are then, we are starting our first formation lap on F1 23. You can hear the revs sound a little bit higher pitched than last year's game. Obviously the engines are different to last year's game, as we're just going to have to try and get temperature into these soft tyres, which shouldn't be too hard compared to like the medium or the hard compound tyres.
Okay, so our system checks.
So here you can see parking our car for the first time visually and graphically. I don't think the manual grid spot has changed in looks in any way. And this is the part you've all come to see, my first race on F1 23, debut of the 35% race, and the lights are out and we are underway. A decent start for us there actually, jumping Nick De Vries and Logan Sargent off the grid. De Vries giving us a good fight though into turn 1, being a bit cautious here, and I almost hit the back there. I had to slam on the brakes because if I didn't, I'd have gone straight into the back of the Haas of Kevin Magnussen, sending down the inside of about 3-4 cars there. Almost, can we make it 4, but not quite. Hulkenberg has a bit more grip of the line. We almost get hit there. I believe we got caught. I'm not sure, but 2 cars were going side by side and we got caught there. Had to take evasive action there, using a bit of ERS to defend ourselves down the straight. Zoe is not going to get on us actually. You can see the AI straight line speed is not as OP as it was on last year's game, if you remember, because that was ridiculous. And the AI are a lot better this year as well. They don't just turn into you even if you're there. They actually acknowledge you. As we now head down into Cobb's Corner, I don't think I took this flat on this lap. I think it took me a few laps to actually get it right, using a bit of ERS to put away from Joe. And yeah, I lifted off there. I stayed on the track at least, so it's better than my first lap. Just still trying to gain on Nico Hulkenberg, but there's some sort of train forming here. I'm not sure if there's someone ahead who's got damage or if it's just a slower car. I can't quite see But all I can see is it's McLaren on the mini-map, and I don't know if that's Lando or if that's Oscar Piastri. It's used a bit of ERS on the X there, getting in the slipstream of Nico Hülkenberg. We're going to go to the inside, no, we're going to go to the outside line, trying to go around the outside. We almost hit the back of Bottas there. As we make the move on Nico Hülkenberg around the outside at Stowe Corner, trying to get in the slipstream now of Valtteri Bottas, and we're going to send it down the inside at the Belgian chicane. A bit of sausage curb used there, obviously not ideal, but it doesn't really matter because we make the move on Bottas. Perez sets the fastest lap, and we have gone from P20 to P14 in the first lap. Here we can see a nice broadcast shot then of our car, and it looks absolutely amazing. Even on Xbox One, it still looks really nice as we get in the slipstream of the Alpine of Pierre Gasly, making him around the outside. Now up into P13, chasing down the Alpha Tower of Yuki Tsunoda. And speaking of chasing him down, we're using a bit of ERS into Copse Corner. We can go around the outside, maybe he squeezes us, but he gives us enough room, and we're going to make it work around the outside in the slipstream of Oscar Piastri as well, which definitely helps us. We're now up into P12, now chasing the rookie Oscar Piastri, going through Maggots and Beckett's. We can follow really close here, and just the grip and the confidence I had going through these sequence of corners was just so much more than F1 use ERS, get a much better exit than Oscar Piastri, and we're now past him up into P11. He does give us a good fight though into Stowe Corner, but we do keep position up into P11. Now chasing down P11, which is the first points playing position. Before we even get to attack Lance, Oscar Piastri is now attacking us into turn 1. DRS is now enabled. We keep P11, but it's nice to see the AI are still going for those moves. And speaking of the AI making move, Max Verstappen now trying to make a move on Carlos Sainz. He's now through into P2. It is another Red Bull 1-2. Where have we seen this before? But Sainz is trying to go back at Max Verstappen. They're side by side for Stowe. Brilliant racing between the pair. But Max just come back at Carlos Sainz and is down the inside at the Vale chicane and makes it another 1-2 for Red Bull. But at the same point, 1 lap later, Max Verstappen is trying to make another move, and this time it's on his Red Bull teammate Sergio Perez into Stowe Corner. Before they even get to the braking point, he is passed, and this shows some realism in the F1 game. And here you can see then we have our first retirement on the F1 game. Pierre Gasly is out, and Alpine has retired at the old Prince rate, just like the actual F1 2022 British Grand Prix. But here you can see now we're now gaining on Lance Stroll again, so much time through turn 1. I'm not sure if it's being held up or not. We're trying to send it down the inside, but not 1 but 2 cars as we get Lando Norris as well up into P9. Only 5 laps into this race, and we're now up into P9 points in the British Grand Prix. And now it will get more difficult as there are faster cars ahead of us. The Williams isn't a particularly fast car, but cars ahead of him are faster. And you may have just heard earlier that Albon has a car issue, so we're going to use that to advantage and go around the outside. It shouldn't have been too hard anyway because he is in the Williams, but we're going to move on up into P8. Here you can see then this was just ahead of us as Russell in P5 gets a good exit of Copse. He's now going to try and make the move on Carlos Sainz through Magnussen and Beckett. It's brilliant racing, brilliant racing between the pair of them, and I must say that AI racing on this game is really good. Russell now up into P4 makes the move. It's an absolutely brilliant move through Magnussen and Beckett, so fair play to George Russell. But is Carlos Sainz now going to try and go back at him into Stowe Corner? No, quite. He's stuck his nose in, but George Russell ends up keeping the position. But George Russell is not the one that overtaking. He got the Ferrari last lap, and he is now going for the next Ferrari on the next lap. He's now up into podium position. Before they even get to braking point, he flies past the Ferrari and is now up in podium position at his home Grand Prix. And meanwhile, we are in P8 when we get called to go into the pits this lap, fit the medium compound tyre. But we need to use up these stores, so we're going to push this lap as we try and gain, and we are gaining on Esteban Ocon, and we're going to send it down the inside of Ocon in the Alpine, and we make the move up into P7, now chasing down Fernando Alonso. And there's a pack here of 4 cars. This goes to the Ferrari, which I believe is in P3 because the Red Bull is obviously 1-2, and you can see on the mini up they have absolutely bolted ahead of Mercedes and Ferraris, and we now join them, and Alonso is pitting and we are pitting, and there might be a car ahead, and that is Carlos Sainz, who's also going to pit this lap, and obviously hoping for the fastest pit stop we can. You can see the graphic here again hasn't changed for the manual pit stop. I mean, that top bar kind of has changed a little bit obviously to kind of fit the theme of F1 23, but that little kind of icon where you meant to press it by hasn't changed at all. We come out in P12, that's because everyone else or some others haven't pitted yet. I'm not sure if we can get the undercut on anyone, but you know, we've got to push and just hit the halfway marks. We've got half the race to try and get the highest position we can in this 35% race around Silverstone. And you may have just seen here, we have got a DRS fault, so just listen to this radio.
The rear wing's stuck open. We need you to pit so we can try to repair it. Pit in for repairs and be careful.
You can hear there our DRS is stuck. You can hear there our DRS is stuck open. Now going through comps there, you can see you can't really tell too much, but the back, I've got no downforce on the back end. Going through Magnussen and Beckett here as well, I had to take it so careful. You can see I'm having to make corrections left, right and centre because this car is not that stable. But they told me to pit this lap. I'm not going to pit, I'm going to stay out, but this means I've now got DRS wherever I go. So down any straight, just main straight wherever I go, old pit straight, exit Cops, just after Stowe here, anywhere I go, I've got DRS. So this could either help us or it could slow us down, because we've got DRS anywhere which will help us, but then going through like Cops and Magnussen and Beckett's will slow us down because they haven't got as much downforce. You can see here on exits as well. I have to be really careful on the throttle. Not as, I mean it's still a lot better than F1 22, but I've still got to be careful on the throttle just so I don't spin or bin the car. And you can see down the hangar straight here, I've got DRS tonight, even if I'm not within a second. I was though, but even if I wasn't, I'd still get DRS. You can see we're gaining, and gaining, and we're going to make another through. Goes Hamilton. It's not a club corner, but it is at Stowe corner. But it doesn't matter because we're now up into P3 and on the podium, but we can try and hunt down the Red Bulls, but there are 5 seconds and 7 seconds ahead of us. They're kind of doing what they do in real life and just kind of check out the race. There's not much I can do really. I know I've got extra DRS, but then it's kind of hindering us because we just don't have as much downforce. You can see it through Cops corner. I can tell you who does have downforce. These two Ferraris, they're going side by side. Brilliant battle between the two of them. Sainz keeps his P4, but I can tell you what, Russell is on a hunt, going through Maggots, Beckett's once again, trying to make a move, trying to go around the outside of Fernando. Alonso turns to the inside and then turns back to the outside, but it doesn't really matter because he has made the move up into P6. Now as we try and hunt down the Ferraris, and speaking of the Ferraris, they're now going side by side. I had a nice view of this if I kept looking back, and they're going side by side. Leclerc is now, before the braking point, up into P4. He's going to now try and hunt down us, and we have still caught DRS open. We've had this for a few laps now. Touch the box, but I don't want to box because I'm going to lose too much time. I ain't going to gain none of that back. So it's safer for us to stay. See, we almost been the car there. Leclerc tried to go around the outside, but he backs off on the exit there. We scared him off, and we keep our P3. But at this point, I kind of want to the DRS to shut. But me scaring off Leclerc has really helped our teammate George Russell, because Leclerc holds up Sainz, Russell's past Sainz, and now Russell's down the inside of Charles Leclerc into turn 1. They're side by side. Brilliant battle between these two. I don't know why Russell's on hards, but he is. I'm not quite sure what Mercedes have done to him there, but he's down the inside, and these hards might be helping him because the mediums could be wearing away, and these hards will also have longer tyre life. They're side by side. Russell, he's still keeping his nose in there. He's doing a bit of ERS there on the exit. It's got DRS now, and he has passed. It's now Mercedes 3 and 4. I don't think there's any chance of us getting any height in this race because the Red Bulls have completely checked out of this race. And my prayers have been answered because our DRS has finally shut. I don't think I've ever said that before, but I'm glad that it's now shut, and we actually have downforce through Cops. We didn't actually keep it on the track, but the DRS is shut, which is the main part, and the grip, it felt amazing to go through Maggots and Beckwiths, these beautiful sequences of corners with some actual downforce in the rear end. I didn't have to worry about having to catch it or worry about me binning the car. So we now have but speaking of DRS, Russell has now got DRS. He's now trying to make the move on us. He's on hard tyres as well. He makes the move up into P3, and I have a feeling this is going to emerge into a nice British battle here at the British Grand Prix. And we're trying to make a different line, just try and get a good exit so we can pass Russell and maybe into Cops corner. I'm not sure. We're trying to use some ERS. We've got about 50% to use. We've got 3 laps left. We're going to gain and gain. Stop using ERS. We want to save it. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to go for a move here. Bit too risky. I don't want to throw all my hard work away as we get a bit on the sausage curve there and we go a bit wide. But we're gaining and gaining. Russell, we may make a move. No, we're gonna play it sensible. We're gonna play it smart. I've spent this whole race. I'm not going to try and bin it away on trying to make some stupid move on our teammate. I'll tell you where isn't a place to make a stupid move, and that is here. We've got DRS using a bit of ERS there. I don't know why I paused the game, but I did. We're now in the slipstream. We've turned off the ERS just so we can defend in future laps. We're now past our teammate George Russell into Stowe corner. Stowe corner seems to be a very good spot for overtaking here at the British Grand Prix. I can tell you who was trying to make the move though. Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin on the inside of the Ferrari. His fellow Spaniard Carlos Sainz down the inside of Stowe corner. Nice move up into P6. You can now try and hunt down the other Ferrari. But this is why I tried to save the ERS there, though I didn't use any because Russell didn't gain too much on me. But he could try and go around the outside at Stowe corner. I did say that this is the best place to make a move. A bit of contact made between the two Mercedes cars, but we stay ahead of our teammate George Russell into the first chicane, and then about 2.5 tenths separating us. And we've got enough fuel, I just checked there, we've got enough fuel to make it to the end as we go on to the penultimate lap of this British Grand Prix. And we almost binned the car there, got a tiny bit wide there, and George Russell has now got the run. Is he going to try and go down the inside? Yes, he is, but we defend from him. But there's always action around this circuit, as once again into Stoke corner, Alonso trying to make the move, and he has already passed Charles Leclerc. And I did say earlier he's going to hunt down the Ferrari, and he has hunted down the Ferrari up into P5. Fair play to Alonso. He considered my last lap of the Grand Prix. I thought I'd leave this in and just have no commentating, and I'll just let you watch my last lap.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Well, they've done a brilliant job, I must say, under some intense pressure to take a well-earned victory here at the British Grand Prix. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everybody at the team.
So no surprise, Max Verstappen won the British Grand Prix, followed by his teammate Sergio Perez. Another Red Bull 1-2, but we come home for P3. And I must say, I actually forgot what it was like to enjoy playing the F1 game. And I really enjoyed doing this race. It was 35%, a nice kind of in-between of 25% that's too short, and then 50% that kind of get a bit boring. So 35% a good addition to the race as well. No safety cars or red flags, but we'll see that in future F1 23 videos. And here I thought I'd in the new podium pass screen because I updated it from last year, and I think it looks quite nice. So here are the results then. Max Verstappen wins the Grand Prix with Sergio Perez in second, as I stated earlier, and we are on the podium. George Russell followed us in P4. Fernando Alonso in P5 with the fastest lap of the race, and you can see that only DNF of the race was Pierre Gasly. And overall, a really good race. Love entertainment, yet no safety cars and red flag, as I said, that should come in future F1 23 videos. And here is a quick snippet of a video that I'll be doing down the line on F1 23, and I'll be doing 2 series on this F1 game. One will be a My Team career mode, and the other one will be a Road to Glory. We'll find out which team I'll be doing that with when that video gets released. And yeah, this is Game with Joel out.